Welcome back to another For Honor video. Anubis here. Patch 1.07 is coming to console and PC when Season 2 drops May 16th. Let's talk about some of the highlights from the Warrior's Den and the patch notes. Today we're going to talk about the new stuff out. I've got some links here to videos that I've talked about the stuff coming for Season 2, but we're going to highlight the patch notes and some of the things talked about in the Warrior's Den from May 11th. So before we dive into the 1.07 patch notes, I want to talk about the fact that they released the actual move sets for the heroes. There's going to be live gameplay on Monday, so you can check that out in the live stream. The Shinobi was said to basically want to be elastic. He's going to be able to come in, go out, guard break from a little far distance. There's some video they've dropped, and IGN dropped the Centurion and Shinobi, all executions and emotes that are coming out too. So you can check that out. I'll have the links to all of that stuff in the description, along with some other links that will be useful for you. Quick highlights from that Warrior's Den. There's going to be one revive in an elimination round, so you'll be able to die and get up, but that'll be it. They're going to be working on the defensive meta in general, the defensive kind of play set in the future, but not yet. Let's talk about what is coming in patch 1.07. The faction map itself is going to add a total of 9 new territories, 3 per faction, to kind of back that out. So the faction war map will be a little different for Season 2. Dead zones are going to be added to where you can adjust that for controller drift and other things. If you don't know what dead zones are, I highly recommend checking that out. It may be very helpful for a lot of different situations, or if you have an older controller where you have controller drift, that's definitely helpful. There's going to be a lot of bug fixes. I will have the patch notes links in the description, so you can check that out to see about specific bug fixes. I am going to note that there's some things about sprinting in place, soft fainting, some about the ladder mechanics. Now what you guys really want to hear about the characters. The Raider is the main one getting a buff in 1.07, and his stunning tap is a big part of that. He's going to be able to follow that stunning tap. If you've seen him cancel a heavy and come up from the top, he stuns you. He's going to be able to do that with all of his heavies, including his zone. Now, in addition to that, if he whiffs that tap, if he doesn't actually connect with you, he will still be able to chain that with his other attacks. His grab charge is going to cost 40 stamina instead of 60, so he'll be able to use that a little more frequently and not completely drain himself very quickly. Your stamina, if you're getting grabbed up by him, is going to go down from anywhere between 36 and 66 points. Your stamina will be drained, and it's going to take 2.7 seconds instead of 1.8 to start regenerating that stamina. In addition to that, his knee, so he takes you, does the same grab, but he hits you against a wall, knees you in the face. It used to do no damage. It will now do 15 damage, and there's a slight increase to the timing there, so he can chain that better. Now this was really to give him a more opportunity in 1v1 situations. Now obviously if you played 4v4s, the guard grab can work definitely strategically, but in 1v1s it can be kind of difficult to make that actually punish your opponent. There's also a slight damage increase he's going to have to 3 of his move sets, so be looking forward to that. The PK's stabs, her bleed stabs after her guard break, are going to change the damage. It used to be 15 for the first, 12 for the second, 9 over 8 seconds. Now it's going to be 8 for the first, 8 for the second, and 16. So you're really only going to get the real damage you need out of that and the most bleed if you do all 3. So that'll change up some of their mix-ups. The Shigoki and the Nobushi both are having their light and heavy openers timing shifted. Apparently the timings don't match up when they're out of guard mode to when they are in guard mode. So those are going to be changed to be consistent. The Lawbringer just had something added to his move set, and also some little bug fixes with him, as well as the Warlord, who had his move set updated after the last patch with his headbutt being adjusted. The Warden is now going to be able to switch targets when he's charging his shoulder bash. That was actually a bug. It's supposed to work that way, and it just wasn't working as intended. The Kensei's no-look execution is going to take 100 milliseconds longer to actually execute that character, so that's a little slight change. One thing to note is that they said that they don't really want to invest in too many characters all at once to make sure that they're pretty much making the right changes. So I think we'll probably see this in future patches where one character gets really focused on and other characters get a couple little bug fixes and small minor details changed. Miscellaneous things that I want to note are changing in the 1.07 is that you're no longer going to be able to get negative renown. Apparently, if you were in a 3v1 or 4v1 situations, in other words, your team is ganking, there was a possibility to get negative renown. Now that the penalties won't make you get negative renown, but there is a penalty if you did not know. There's going to fix some of the bonuses for skirmish, and the faction war is going to update instantly after you finish a game. So those are some of the more miscellaneous things in the patch notes. If you didn't know, there's a 25% bonus XP across all game modes that's going to be permanent in Season 2, and there's an entirely new gear, stats, and rework that are lined out in these patch notes. You can check the video in the top right corner for what I have kind of broken down and all the information you need to know about the gear and what you're going to need to prepare for in this upcoming week. However, what I didn't talk about in there was the steal and salvage adjustments. So you're going to get less salvage for the pieces that you break down. However, it's going to cost less salvage and less steel to upgrade each piece of gear. That's something that's going to change kind of how we use the salvage and steel, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that actually plays out. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the 1.07 update leading up to Season 2. I will be discussing the movesets, the full movesets of the Shinobi and Centurion tomorrow on my next part of my Huddle Up series for Season 2. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, spank that like button, and as always, I'll see you on the battlefield.